Life has never been, nor will it ever be easy. That's the reality. Every day, from the moment you open your eyes until you close them at night, you face challenges, uncertainty, and pain. It doesn't matter who you are, how much money you have, or what situation you live in, we all share something inevitable. Life always tests us, and in the face of this, you have only two options. Either you lament and let life drag you down, blaming luck or circumstances, or you decide to stand up, look reality in the eyes, and start using every blow, every difficulty, every disappointment as fuel to strengthen yourself. Stoic philosophy teaches exactly that. It's not what happens to you, it's what you do with it. Personal transformation has never depended on what happens outside, but on how you react and how you decide to interpret what happens to you. Your thoughts, decisions, and actions are the only things that are truly under your control. You can decide to see every obstacle as an opportunity, every failure as a lesson, and every loss as a powerful reminder that you are here temporarily and that you have to live with courage, determination, and authenticity. In this video, I will share 8 practical lessons from Stoicism that you can start applying right now to build a strong, fulfilling, and deeply meaningful life. It's not just about nice words or distant philosophical theories. It's about principles that, if you remember, repeat, and train daily, will change your way of living. Because the truth is this: no one is coming to save you. It's you, with your own hands and with your decisions, who must shape the life you want to live. It's your power, it's your responsibility, and you better take it seriously, because no one will do it for you. 1. Transform pain into power. Pain is non-negotiable. Sooner or later, we all go through moments of suffering, losses, frustrations, or emotional wounds that shake us to our core. But what is negotiable, what depends entirely on you, is the response you give to that pain. The Stoics understood something fundamental that most people still ignore. Every blow you receive in life has the potential to strengthen you beyond what you believe possible. When Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The obstacle is the way," he left us a valuable lesson on how to relate to suffering. Life does not hit us because it hates us or because it has bad luck reserved for us. It hits us to reveal our strength, to push us towards a stronger and wiser version of ourselves. But this only happens if you choose to use that pain as a tool, not as an excuse. Imagine you've just gone through a painful breakup, lost a job that meant everything to you, or failed at an important project. You can sink into self-pity and feel victimized by circumstances. You can blame life for its injustice, or you can take the harder but more powerful route. Accept that pain, look it in the face, and turn it into fuel. You can decide that this dark moment will be just the turning point where you become someone new, stronger, and more determined. Neuroscience has shown something interesting. When you actively accept emotional pain and reinterpret it as an opportunity to grow, you are literally reprogramming your brain. You are creating new neural pathways that prepare you to better resist future adversities. The human brain is designed to strengthen in adversity as long as you allow it. Epictetus put it clearly: circumstances do not make the man, they only reveal him to himself. Think about that every time you go through difficulties. Circumstances are not there to destroy you. They are there to reveal who you really are. And what you are, in essence, is someone with the absolute power to transform pain into something meaningful, into a competitive advantage, into pure strength. Every difficult situation brings with it the possibility of a fundamental Stoic virtue emerging. Resilience. This does not develop in comfort. It needs adversity. It needs challenges. It needs crisis. The deeper the wound, the greater your growth, as long as you have the courage to face it. This is where those who live an ordinary life and those who live an extraordinary life separate. Practice this every day. When you find yourself in an uncomfortable, difficult, or painful situation, stop for a moment and remind yourself that at this very moment, you have a crucial choice to make. Are you going to allow that pain to control you, or are you going to use it to make you stronger? Repeat in your mind phrases like, "This pain strengthens me," "This difficulty is my training," or "This moment turns me into who I am destined to be." These affirmations, repeated constantly, shape your reality and redefine your relationship with suffering. The Stoics did not pretend to ignore pain. They deeply respected it because they understood that it was their wisest and cruelest teacher. Do not fear pain. Respect it and take advantage of it. That emotional scar you carry with you is not a sign of weakness. It is a resounding proof that you are capable of surviving and strengthening in the midst of adversity. Learn to see your wounds as medals you have won in the battle for your personal growth. Always remember this: transforming pain into power is not an act of naive optimism, but a revolutionary act of courage and conscious defiance in the face of life. It is you who decides whether each blow breaks you or builds you, whether it weakens you or elevates you. It's your choice, and that choice will define your entire existence. 2. Free yourself from the illusion of control. We live trapped in a dangerous illusion that steals our peace of mind, generates anxiety, and keeps us frustrated day after day. The illusion of absolute control. We like to think that we can control what happens around us, that our decisions and actions always guarantee exact, predictable, and desired results. But that is false, and the sooner you understand it, the better you can live. The Stoics teach that, in reality, there are very few things you can truly control. Epictetus summed this up in a powerful phrase: "Some things depend on us, others do not depend on us." You can control what you think, how you interpret what happens, and how you react to it, but you cannot control the results, the actions of others, or external circumstances. Pretending to do so is fighting against reality, and that battle always ends in defeat. The obsessive need for control is a manifestation of fear. You cling to the illusion of control because deep down you are terrified of uncertainty. You are scared to accept that life, in essence, is unpredictable, that people can change, that plans can fail, and that things do not always turn out as you want. And this is not pessimism, it is realism. Life does not respond to your expectations. It responds to complex causes and effects that are beyond you. Accepting that is not resignation, but liberation. Think about how many times a day you get frustrated or suffer over things you simply cannot control. A traffic jam, an unfair criticism, someone else's decision that affects your plans, or even the way someone treats you. And what do you do about it? Usually you get upset, react with anger or sadness, waste emotional energy that you could use to build your life. That attitude weakens you because you are spending your strength on impossible battles to win. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, wrote something that should be engraved in your mind. You have power over your mind, not over external events. Realize this, and you will find strength. That is the key to freeing yourself. Accept reality as it is, not as you would wish it to be, and then fiercely focus on what you can change. If a problem is beyond your control, it does not deserve a second more of your anxiety. Let it go. Allow yourself to feel the relief that comes from understanding that not everything depends on you. Neuroscience backs up this Stoic wisdom. When you release your need to control what is out of your hands, your brain automatically decreases the levels of cortisol, the stress hormone. This allows you to think clearly, make wiser decisions, and live in peace with the uncertain. Mental clarity is born precisely from the honest and brave recognition of your limits. Practice this every day. When something disturbs you, stop for a second and ask yourself, is this under my control or not? If the answer is yes, act immediately with courage and decision. If the answer is no, consciously release your attachment to the outcome. Say out loud or repeat in your mind, "This does not depend on me. I will not waste my energy on it." By doing so, you train your mind to live calmly, even in the midst of chaos. Giving up control is not a sign of weakness. It is an absolute proof of strength. It is recognizing your authentic power and focusing on the only thing you always have available, your attitude towards life. Free yourself from the illusion of control. Embrace uncertainty, and you will discover that right there, in that brave renunciation, is where you really start to live. 3. Master the fire before it burns you. Anger is pure fire. In small doses, it can drive you to act. It can motivate you to change what is wrong and to protect what you deeply value. But if you let it burn uncontrollably, it will become a destructive force that will sweep you and everything you care about. Stoicism clearly understands this and offers you a precise tool to master this fire before it's too late. Every time you allow rage or anger to dominate you, you hand over absolute control of your life to the most basic and primitive emotional reaction there is. You become a slave to your own impulse, acting thoughtlessly and clumsily, unable to make intelligent or rational decisions. You not only lose the battle with the person or situation that provoked your fury, but you also lose the battle with yourself, with your character, and with the kind of person you want to be. Stoicism does not ask you to suppress your anger or pretend that everything is fine when it is not. It asks you something much more demanding: to learn to recognize and control that fire when it is just beginning, to act before it becomes uncontrollable. Every intense emotion begins as a small spark, but most people ignore that initial moment. When they finally notice it, the fire is already out of control, and it's too late. The first thing you need to understand is that it doesn't matter how justified you feel in being upset. You may have all the reasons in the world, you may be right, but if you allow anger to consume you, you automatically lose, because you have surrendered your personal power to an emotion that has no interest in your well-being or the truth. It just wants to react, to take revenge, to destroy. Your true strength is not in reacting immediately, but in stopping and analyzing the situation calmly and clearly. The Stoic Epictetus expressed it clearly. What affects you is not the action of others, but your interpretation of that action. Nobody can make you feel anything without your consent. And when you master this idea, you understand that your mental tranquility, your inner peace, are too valuable to leave in the hands of external circumstances or people who don't even deserve that control. Every time you feel the fire of rage beginning to ignite within you, remember that you are in time to take control. Breathe deeply, physically distance yourself if necessary, and ask yourself with brutal honesty, is it worth sacrificing my inner peace for this? Is it worth giving up my personal power, my dignity, and my tranquility to this situation or person? The answer will almost always be a resounding no. Don't forget that every time you control your anger, you strengthen your character. Every time you keep calm in the face of provocation, you build an inner strength that is almost impossible to break. You become an invulnerable person, not because you never get upset, but because no one can make you lose control anymore. That is a victory that only those who understand the true power of self-control achieve. Practice this simple technique. When you notice that you start to get angry, observe yourself from the outside as if you were watching another person. Observe how the emotion arises, how it tries to take over you, and then consciously decide to stop it right there. This small pause is enough to regain your mastery and put out the fire before it grows. Mastering the fire before it burns you will not only protect your mental peace, it will also completely transform your way of relating to life. You will stop being a puppet of your emotions and become the absolute master of your emotional destiny. It is a difficult and constant effort, but it is absolutely worth it. Always remember that controlling your anger is controlling yourself, and that is the most powerful of all victories. 4. Don't waste what you can't recover. There is only one currency in life that is absolutely irrecoverable: your time. You can lose money and recover it later. You can lose friendships and build new ones. You might even lose opportunities and find better ones later on. But never, under any circumstance, will you be able to recover even a single second of time once you've spent it. Time is the very substance of your life, and it's amazing how little aware we are of how we waste it day after day. Every moment of your life that you give to insignificant things, to empty conversations, to toxic people, or to activities that do not bring real value, is literally a piece of your existence that will never return. It's not an exaggeration or drama. It's a brutal reality that most of us prefer to ignore because it confronts us directly with our responsibility. But if you're not aware of this, you'll live a half-life, dragged by the current, reacting to the urgent, while the important slowly dies before your eyes. This doesn't mean you should obsess over using every second for productive or utilitarian tasks. No, that would simply be another form of slavery. What Stoicism proposes is that you be radically honest about how you're investing your time. Are those hours in front of the cell phone or television really a conscious decision, or just an automatic reflex? Is it really worth it to be in sterile discussions that never get anywhere? How much of your valuable time slips away daily in distractions that you don't even enjoy? You have to understand this clearly. Living distracted is living asleep. It's living without taking control of your existence. Every hour that passes, you're inevitably getting closer to the end of your life. It's uncomfortable to accept, but it's exactly that discomfort that should wake you up. When you fully accept your mortality, you understand that every day, every minute, every moment has an absolute value that you can't afford to waste. Every time you're tempted to waste your time, stop and ask yourself with conscious aggression, am I willing to exchange an irreplaceable piece of my life for this? If the honest answer is no, then immediately stop that activity. Defend the value of your time fiercely. Don't be afraid to say no to what doesn't contribute, to what doesn't build, to what doesn't bring you closer to the life you truly want to live. Stoicism also teaches something crucial here. Your time is not only yours, it also belongs to the people you love and the causes you deeply value. Every moment you waste is a moment you could be dedicating to building something meaningful, to sharing with those who really matter or to personal growth. If you really understand this, you'll never take time lightly again. Today, right now, you have an important decision to make. You can continue acting as if your time were infinite, letting it slip through your fingers with indifference, or you can decide to protect it with absolute determination. Consciously choose your battles, your friendships, your passions, and your moments of rest. Choose to live with the intensity that every second deserves, always remembering that every lost moment will never return. 5. Your destiny is built in the unseen. Most people want immediate results, visible applause, and successes that can be showcased in public. They naively believe that destiny is built solely on big decisions, those that the whole world observes and admires. But Stoicism teaches something radically different. What truly defines who you are, who you will become, and how far you will go in life always happens in the dark, away from applause, and without anyone watching you. Your destiny does not depend on big victories, but on the small decisions you make every day in silence. Those decisions that seem insignificant, that no one sees, that no one applauds, but that slowly shape your character, your discipline, and your inner strength. When no one is watching you, when there is no immediate reward or reward in sight, what decisions do you make? There, in that intimacy with yourself, is where you are truly building your destiny. True greatness does not arise from extraordinary acts that are done once, but from small actions consistently repeated day after day. No one becomes strong, wise, or successful by accident. It is a conscious, repetitive, and silent decision that happens behind the scenes. It's the daily habits you cultivate in private, those small internal victories that no one will ever know, that define your entire path. When you are alone, when you get up early, even though you could stay sleeping, when you decide to train, even though you are tired, when you work on your goals, even though no one congratulates you for it, you are laying the foundations of your future. Every little effort counts. Every time you choose to do the right thing instead of the easy one, you are shaping the person you really want to be. Stop seeking external validation for what you do. Stop depending on praise, recognition, or applause to motivate you. If your commitment depends on others recognizing your effort, you will never go far. What you build in silence, what you do without needing approval, that is what truly makes you unstoppable. That is what allows you to live with strength and deep meaning, beyond the external noise. It is essential that you remember this. The real reward is in the person you become during the process. Your character is the direct result of what you do in private, when no one is watching you. The discipline you build in the dark will be your greatest strength when real challenges come. Because those challenges always come, and only those who have quietly cultivated their internal resilience will be able to stand when the rest fall. When success comes, it is not a coincidence. It is not luck. It is not magic. It is simply the visible manifestation of what you have patiently cultivated in the unseen. Every public victory has behind it hundreds, thousands of small private decisions. So always focus on those daily decisions, even the most trivial ones. Treat them with respect and absolute seriousness, because there you are sowing exactly what you will reap later. In difficult times, when motivation disappears and it seems that your efforts are useless, remember that in the unseen, you are building your destiny. Your silent determination is the true measure of your strength. Do not let doubts or criticisms distract you, because no one but you can see the real value of those small daily acts you perform without witnesses. Remind yourself of this every day. What you do when no one sees you is what defines you as a person. There is your true legacy. There your future is formed. There is born the full and meaningful life you so long for. Keep your focus on the unseen. Keep your silent commitment, because in those small and constant actions lies the very essence of your greatness. 6. Fear lies, but you decide. Fear is the biggest liar you will face in your life. Every day it whispers catastrophic scenarios in your ear, paralyzes you with invisible threats, and convinces you that you can't, you're not enough, or that things will inevitably go wrong. The most absurd thing is that almost everything you fear never happens. However, you live under its constant shadow, handing over your power, your peace, and your opportunities to an illusion that never really existed. Fear is nothing more than a projection created by your mind to protect you from risk, failure, rejection, or pain. But what was supposed to be a survival tool has become your worst enemy, an invisible prison that prevents you from living the life you deserve to live. Every time you listen to that voice, every time you doubt yourself, every time you allow fear to control you, you are voluntarily giving up your strength, handing it over to something that isn't even real. Stoic philosophy holds that fear arises when you confuse your interpretations and expectations with reality itself. You think about everything that could go wrong, project future disasters, and live them as if they were absolute truths. But here's the important thing. None of that is real yet. The only real thing is this present moment, and what you do with it depends entirely on you. It is you who decides whether you live enslaved by fear or choose to face uncertainty with courage. Think about how many opportunities you have missed just because you were afraid of failing, afraid of what people will say, or afraid of not being prepared. And where are you now? Are you really safer, happier, or more fulfilled for having avoided facing those challenges? The answer is probably no. Every time you run from fear, all you do is strengthen it. It becomes bigger, more powerful, more invasive in your life. Because fear doesn't disappear over time, it feeds precisely on your indecision. You have to understand that every decision you make out of fear is a wrong decision. Because it's not you who's deciding, it's fear deciding for you. And you can't let your life be directed by a liar. Become aware that it is you who have given it that power, and that just as you gave it, you can also take it away. Facing fear doesn't mean you're going to eliminate it completely. It means you will act despite it. It means you consciously decide to listen to its lie. Look it in the face and say, "This is not real. I decide who I am, what I can do, and how far I can go." Because the real power is in the action you take despite fear, not in its absence. Every time you make a brave decision, even a small one, you weaken the power that fear has over you. Every time you challenge your self-imposed limits, you expand what you believe is possible for yourself. It's not a heroic act. It's a simple daily, conscious, and determined choice that gradually frees you from the prison you have locked yourself in. The life you long to live, the strongest and most authentic version of yourself, is always on the other side of fear. Not in a distant future, but right here, right now, in the brave decision you can make at this very moment. Stop believing your fears. Dare to question them. Always ask yourself harshly and clearly, what will I really lose if I ignore this lie? What life could I live if I stop listening to this constant deception? The decision is in your hands. Fear can lie to you every day, but only you decide whether you will continue to believe those lies or if you will finally dare to live a life worth remembering. 7. Not everything you think deserves your faith. Your mind can be your greatest ally or your worst enemy. Every day, thousands of thoughts circulate relentlessly through your head. Some useful, some useless, some toxic, and others completely false. But the most common mistake we all make is to automatically believe everything we think, never questioning whether what our mind tells us is real or not. Stoic philosophy clearly teaches that not all your thoughts deserve your trust. And if you want to live a strong, full, and meaningful life, you have to learn to challenge your own mind. Often, you are not even aware that you have accepted false beliefs about yourself, about others, or about the world. Maybe you tell yourself that you are not capable, intelligent, or strong enough to achieve what you want. Maybe you convince yourself that others always have bad intentions towards you, or that life is inherently unfair. These thoughts repeat so much that you end up confusing them with reality itself. But that does not make them true. Your perception is not always the truth. It is simply an interpretation. And like all interpretations, it can be wrong. The mind tends to exaggerate dangers, minimize opportunities, and create unrealistic scenarios that will never happen. In other words, your mind is often wrong. And as long as you blindly believe it, you will live trapped in imaginary limitations, in self-imposed frustrations, and in unnecessary suffering. To break this dynamic, you have to become skeptical about your own thoughts. You have to learn to actively question everything that arises in your mind, especially when it weakens you or prevents you from moving forward. Challenge intensely every negative thought, every paralyzing doubt, every insecurity that appears. Ask yourself harshly, do I have real evidence that this is true? Does this thought strengthen me or limit me? Does it bring me closer to the person I want to be, or does it move me away from her? Most of the time, you will discover that what seemed an absolute truth is only a fiction constructed by your own mind, a fiction that you have fed and strengthened by never questioning it. This constant exercise of questioning your own thoughts not only frees you from internal lies, it also strengthens you as a person. You stop being a slave to your limiting beliefs and start making decisions based on reality, on what is really happening in front of you, not on your fears or insecurities. Little by little, your life becomes more authentic, because now you move forward driven by truth, not by destructive illusions. Also, learn to distance yourself from your thoughts. Observe your mind as if you were an impartial spectator. Imagine that those thoughts do not belong to you, but are simply words floating in the air. This conscious detachment is the key to regaining your power over your own mind. You do not have to accept something just because it arose in your head. Not all your thoughts deserve your respect, let alone your obedience. Every day, make the conscious decision to listen to your mind, but without blindly obeying it. Be critical. Always keep vigilance over your thoughts. The more you practice this habit, the easier it will be to distinguish between thoughts that push you forward and those that only keep you trapped in an endless circle of doubts and frustrations. Not everything you think deserves your faith. Choose wisely what to believe, what to ignore, and what to eliminate forever. Remember that your strength, your peace of mind, and your emotional freedom directly depend on your ability to question yourself with absolute honesty. When you learn to healthily distrust your own mind, you will have regained total control over your life. And that is the only way to live fully and with true power. 8. Break the chains of approval. Living dependent on the approval of others is living enslaved. There is no prison more cruel, invisible, and destructive than this one. If you constantly need external validation to feel that you are worth it, that you are doing the right thing, or that your life has meaning, you will never truly be free. Because there will always be someone who judges you, who criticizes you, or who disapproves of what you do. There will always be someone who does not understand or accept your decisions. And if you base your worth on these external opinions, you will never achieve the mental peace or inner strength you seek. Approval is an addictive drug that weakens your character, extinguishes your authenticity, and dilutes your dreams. Every time you give up your values, renounce your own voice, or sacrifice what you really want just to please others, you are giving away part of yourself. And there will come a day when you look back and discover, with deep sadness, that you never really lived your life, but the life that others expected you to live. Stoicism clearly teaches that the only approval you need is your own. The only voice that should matter to you is the voice of your conscience. When you learn to live according to your principles, according to what you consider right and valuable, regardless of the opinion of others, you become truly strong, someone free. You must understand that the disapproval of others is not something you should avoid at all costs, but a clear sign that you are living authentically. If no one ever disapproves of you, then you are probably not doing anything meaningful with your life. Criticisms, judgments, or negative opinions from other people are inevitable when you have the courage to be yourself. And that's okay. It's more than okay. It's necessary. Do not fear losing external approval. Fear much more losing yourself, trying to obtain it. Constantly ask yourself, what would I do right now if I didn't care what others think? That question will be your compass, your guide, your antidote against insecurity. From now on, commit yourself to making decisions from your authenticity, not from the fear of rejection. Destroy the invisible chains that bind you to approval. Only when you have the courage to completely free yourself from these external expectations will you be able to discover who you really are and live with absolute fulfillment.
Thank you for staying until the end of the video. If you watched the whole thing, comment, "I am Stoic," as our secret signal to know that you're a true student of Stoicism. Don't forget to subscribe and give the video a like if you enjoyed it. See you in the next video, and remember, keep cultivating your Stoic mind.